Hello and welcome to Arctic's Game Facts. This week we'll be covering Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a really popular game that just came out August of this year. It's been blowing up all over the place, and I mean just everywhere. I've yet to actually be able to play it due to the fact that I don't own a PlayStation 4 and it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. But I have watched both PewDiePie and Markiplier play it. I've watched some of Jacksepticeye's gameplay of it. I've watched a lot of gameplay of it. I mean, there's so many people who are playing it. It looks like a fantastic game, and I can't wait to play it myself. Until Dawn was originally supposed to come out on the PlayStation 3. It was going to use the motion controls, but due to the fact that most motion control games did not do very well, and so most players aren't going to want to go buy a Move just to play a game, well, they decided to move it to PlayStation 4, which PlayStation 4 has much better graphics, so I am kind of glad of that. I mean, if you looked at the game, it looks very realistic. Since gamers have a really nasty habit of, oh, I don't like that, let's try and replay that, they decided to add in a really cool autosave function that's kind of annoying. And see, the issue is basically if you make a mistake and someone dies, or you make a mistake and something happens that you didn't like, well, guess what? You have to start all over. Because otherwise, pretty much the autosave feature prevents you from going back and redoing things. This is really cool because, like Markiplier, his favorite character died off by a mistake he made, and he literally played through the entire game to get it back. Now, I know that Pewds was also going through playing certain sections, so I don't entirely know. I think that's after you've beaten the whole game to get the different ending. I'm not entirely sure on that. Now, given the fact it came out towards the end of August, this is pretty awesome. See, it was the 7th best-selling game in the United States for August, and it came out at the tail end of August. I mean, what was it, 25th in the U.S.? Yeah, so tail end. And it moved up the lists in most countries as well. I mean, when I say very popular, I mean very popular. Since this game lets you choose so much, in fact, the entire game is literally like a choose-your-own ending. It literally meshes around to give you such a diversified thing. I mean, the publisher said that there was like hundreds of endings, and I don't believe 100 since there's only 8 players and you know, quite a few choices, but still, there's only 8 characters. Well, there you can literally have it end where everyone lives. One person is guaranteed to end up in a bad situation, but still everyone lives. And you can also beat the game with everyone dying, and of course everything in between. And part of what helps drive just the way that the gameplay goes is something they call the butterfly effect mechanic, which literally you shoot a bird, and it could, affect how everyone's perceiving you and how you perceive yourself throughout the game. A very good example would be like one of the first choices in the main gameplay, where you're given the chance to look through someone's phone or not. And well, when you look through the phone, guess what? Suddenly they don't trust you because and they think that you think it's alright to go through everything, and that kind of causes some conflict between you and their character. Now, while Easter eggs were really hard to come by in this game, in fact, I've not really found that many, there was one that was kind of interesting, and that's the whole fact that there are several horror movie posters throughout the game. In fact, you can see, like, around the theater and all that in there, posters for movies like Hypothermia and Stakeland, and even more. So the Wendigo from Until Dawn looks a lot like the Wendigo in Supernatural's first season. On top of that, Mike finds a jacket that looks a lot like Dean Winchester's. Well, at least one of the ones he wears. I mean, it could just be a coincidence since he does, have a few different types of coats, but still. There's a whole additional story arc that requires you to pre-order the game. I mean, you had to have pre-ordered the game through Amazon. And it features Matt and Emily, and it's still kind of the same thing, trying to keep them alive, trying to keep them safe, but it's a whole other little story arc. Until Dawn is heavily influenced by multiple horror movies. I mean, with stuff like a clown mask, a guy wearing a clown mask, and the insanity that, one of the characters goes through, and the Wendigo, And I mean, it's just a cluster of horror goodness. I mean, seriously, there is a Jigsaw-like trap. Just serial killers, monsters, everything. I mean, what could be better? It's just horror everything. When the game was first announced 3 years ago, it was going to be in the first-person mode. And, you know, when you go to each character, it's going to be first-person. I guess to make it more immersive, make it feel more like it was you, make you more vested in it. Transitioned away from that, especially when they moved to the PS4 and got rid of the motion controls. But could you imagine playing this game on an Oculus Rift? Thank you for watching these 10 facts about Until Dawn. If you liked it, go ahead and mash that thumbs up button. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and click that big red button down below. And if you have any suggestions for a future video, please comment them below. I could definitely use them. And until next time, have fun